The Airavateshvara Kovil is located in the town of Darasuram, 4 kilometers from Kumbakonam, Tamil Nadu, and was built by Rajaraja II from 1146 to 1173 CE. The temple is celebrated for its architectural ingenuity, exquisite relief miniature carvings and paintings, offering glimpses into the social, religious, and cultural life of the Chola period. The Airavateshvara Kovil is an excellent example of Dravidian architecture carved out of granite stone, spanning an area of 23 meters in width and 63 meters in length, one amongst the three of the greatest Chola temples. The town Darasuram is named after the demon Darasura, who worshipped Lord Shiva with his 1,000 consorts. The entrance mandapa of the temple is elevated on a chariot-shaped pedestal with wheels to uphold the sacred abode and is pulled by horses. This style is seen in some other temples of South India and also famously in the Sun Temple of Konark in Orissa, which was built a century later and may have been inspired by these earlier temples. The temple's name comes from Airavata, Indra's Vahana, who was cursed by Rishi Durvasa, causing him to lose his pure white color and his strength. He performed his penance at this spot and pleased Lord Shiva, who went on to restore his form and power. Airavateshvara literally means Lord of Airavata. A Hindu temple is a yogic and divine representation of a human being called Vastu Purusha, whose structure is compared to a lying figure with different parts of the temple corresponding to the different parts of the body. The Garbhagriha is the main sanctum of the temple and is compared to the human head. The Antarala is the vestibule of the temple and is compared to the human neck. The Ardha Mandapa is the half hall of the temple and is compared to the human chest. The Maha Mandapa is the main hall of the temple and is compared to the human stomach. The flag post is compared to the male organ. The Gopuram, which is the temple gateway, is connected to the compound wall, which is compared to the human feet. The Prakara, which is the compound wall that surrounds the whole temple, is compared to the hands. As we approach the temple, we see Nandi facing the main Gopuram of the temple, indicating this is a Shiva temple. We enter through the Gopuram and land in an open courtyard that surrounds the temple, which is used for parikrama. Kubera is the god of wealth. Shankhanidhi is recognized by the conch in his hand. In Hindu iconography, Ganas, Yakshas and Ganesha are the only divine figures represented with a pot belly. Else, it is generally the Asuras who are represented thus. Kubera is one of the Ganas of Shiva. Ardhanari-Surya is a sculpture combining Lord Shiva and his consort Parvati, symbolizing the unity of masculine and feminine energies. The name Ardhanari-Surya means the Lord who is half man and half woman, reflecting his dual nature. The left side of the figure represents Shiva, depicted with traditional masculine attributes like a trident and a serpent around his neck, while the right side represents Parvati, characterized by feminine features, a lotus and jewelry. This representation emphasizes the inseparable nature of the male and female principles, highlighting their essential roles in the creation and balance of the universe. This version in Airavateshvara Kovil is a rare depiction of an Ardhanari-Surya, where the name is inscribed in Grantha script on the top where the statue is located. 3 hands and Prabha, seen as a circle behind the head, symbolizes Surya. The 4-armed Nagaraja is a significant figure in Hindu art and is often depicted as a king of serpents. In this particular sculpture, Nagaraja is shown with four arms. The front two hands are folded in a gesture of respect or prayer. Agastya is a powerful sage who is known for his wisdom and knowledge. He has the ability to transform his body into any form he desires, and he also has the power to control the elements. Agastya Rishi is often called upon by gods and mortals for help in times of need, and his advice is always sought after. Below the chariot's wheel, there is a single relief of a hidden Buddha. The relief was made for Madhavi, Rajaraja Chola's daughter, who was a Buddhist. We thus know that the Cholas also patronized Buddhism. Chandra is the Hindu god of the moon and is associated with the night, plants, and vegetation. He is one of the Navagraha, 9 planets of Hinduism, and Dikpala, guardians of the directions. He is a beautiful god, seen here two-armed, holding a club in his right and a lotus in his left hand. Agni, the god of fire, is a major god in the Vedas. He is one of the Panchabhutas, sky, water, air, earth and fire. He is also the guardian deity of the southeast direction, according to the Ashtadikpala, guardians of 8 directions. Swaha is the wife of Agni, hence we say Swaha with every offering made to the sacrificial fire. Indra is the king of gods, lord of the skies, lightning, thunder, weather, rains and storms. Indra is the most referred to god in the Rig Veda. However, in later periods, his significance diminishes to being remembered in mythology. The rainbow is his bow, Dhanu, thus the word Indradhanu for rainbow. His weapon is the lightning he holds in his right arm. Brahma is one of the gods in the Hindu trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. He is the creator, born from the lotus sprouted from Vishnu's navel. He is always depicted with 4 heads, symbolizing the 4 Vedas. He has no temple dedicated specially to him, due to a trick he played in a competition with Shiva. The Rajagambhira Mandapa is grandiose in its architecture, known for its miniature format relief carvings. It may have been a hall or pavilion for dance, where the pillars and ceilings are profusely decorated with depictions from the life of Shiva, as well as varied compositions with dancers and musicians, floral patterns such as women seen alongside a flower or creeper, reminiscent of the Shala Bhanjika figure, meaning the tree dryads, which were first seen in the more ancient Buddhist sites of central India. Yalis are compositions of multiple animals. They add to the alankara, decoration of the temple. Simhayali is a composition with the head and body of a lion, tusk and trunk of an elephant, and ears of a horse. Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge, wisdom, music, and arts. She is often seen seated on a lotus, holding a veena, and is depicted with four arms. In this sculpture, she is seen seated in Ardha Padmasana and is gracefully ornamented. She is identified by the veena on her left arm. Alongside her other attributes, such as the Akshamala, signifying meditation, and a pot of water, signifying purity, her right hand is in Chin Mudra. Chin means consciousness, three of its fingers representing the letting go of ego, selfishness, and illusion, while the other two, the index finger represents the Jivatma, individual consciousness, and the thumb represents the supreme consciousness. Thus, the joining of these two fingers symbolizes yoga, the union of the individual with the supreme. The sculpture captures beautifully the serene and composed expression of the deity. Kannappa is a hunter and is known as the most devoted one of the 63 Nayanmars. One day, while Kannappa was hunting in the forest, he came across a Shivalingam. He was moved by its presence and decided to worship it. Soon after, he heard someone approaching, so he hid behind a tree. It was a Brahman who had come to pray to the lingam. From behind the tree, Kannappa observed how the Brahman did his ritual. He cleaned the whole place, then poured a pot of water on the Shivalingam, chanted his mantras, made offerings, and then left. Kannappa was impressed by the puja and thought of doing the same, but he did it his way. He carried water in his mouth, poured it on the lingam, brought some flowers from the forest, offered the lingam some meat from his hunt, and instead of reciting mantras, he recounted everything that happened in his day. When the Brahman came the next morning, he was shocked to see meat kept in front of the lingam. He cleaned the place and did his own ritual again. However, Kannappa came back, cleared away the Brahman's offerings, and did his version of the ritual all over again like the previous day. After this went on for a few days, the Brahman decided to hide behind a bush and find out who the culprit was. When he found out that Kannappa was the one offering meat to the lingam, the Brahman was furious and was about to curse the hunter. At that moment, Shiva appeared and asked the Brahman to wait and watch. When the hunter was recounting to the lingam the events of his day, one of the eyes of the lingam began shedding blood all of a sudden. A voice told Kannappa that he had to offer his eye to the lingam in order to stop the bleeding. Without wasting a second, Kannappa plucked his eye out with his arrow and stuck it onto the bloody eye, stopping the flow of blood. As the other eye of the lingam started bleeding too, Kannappa plucked his second eye also to offer it. Right then, Shiva appeared in front of him and asked him to stop. He was impressed by the devotion that Kannappa had for him and gave him back both his eyes. He then asked the hunter what he wanted. Kannappa wished to be forever by his side. Shiva, hearing this, took Kannappa with him. He taught the Brahman that merely performing rituals correctly every day won't lead him to God. It is the unconditional love and devotion that one should have for his God. Since that day, he is called Kannappa Nayanmar because he was so devoted and special to Lord Shiva and is always seen by his side. This sculpture is made out of basalt rock and is the only sculpture of the 63 Nayanmars situated in the Rajagambhira Mandapa by the entrance of the Garbhagriha. You can identify him by his leather skirt, his folded hands that showcase humbleness, and is seen with bow and arrows on his back. He is also seen wearing footwear with straps, which resemble the present day's fashion. The sculpture represents the power of intense devotion and selflessness towards Shiva, reminding us that true worship surpasses any material offering. Then we make our way forward towards the Ardha Mandapa, which is the smaller hall, also arranged with numerous carved pillars. Before following the vestibule, we are greeted by Ganesha on the left and Kartikeya on the right, who are flanked by Dwarapalakas on either sides. Beyond the Dwarapalakas are two small flights of stairs leading us downwards, joining the outer courtyard. Now crossing the vestibule, we enter the Garbhagriha, which expresses Shiva in its abstract form of the Lingam. The wedding of Kartikeya, the god of war and son of Shiva, with Jayanti, the daughter of Indra, represents a significant divine union. Kartikeya, known for his bravery, marries Jayanti, who is graceful and noble. This marriage symbolizes the balance between strength and beauty, showing how divine forces come together to maintain harmony and order in the universe. Here, goddess Parvati does penance to win Lord Shiva's love and attention. She shows her devotion by meditating deeply and performing difficult rituals. Parvati's efforts demonstrate her deep love and commitment towards Shiva. Aghora is the fiercest form of Shiva. Ghora means bad or difficult. Aghora means good and not difficult. This depiction always shows him with weapons and a terrifying expression, ready to strike. He is the terrible force of destruction and renewal. Martanda Bhairava sculpture shows Shiva in a fierce form. Bhairava is known for his power and protection. This sculpture depicts him with a strong pose and a serious expression, highlighting his role as a guardian who fights against evil. This is a magnificent depiction of Sarabeshvara, the most powerful avatar of Lord Shiva. And the small figure below, kneeling in prayer, is Prahlada, the son of the demon king Hiranyakashipu. He was tormented by his own father for worshipping Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu had a boon from God that he could be killed by no man nor animal, nor by day or night, whether it was in the house or outside the house, on the earth or in the heavens. Thus, Vishnu decides to take the form of Narasimha to kill Hiranyakashipu and save his precious devotee from such a demon father. The enraged Narasimha emerges at dusk from a pillar, picks Hiranyakashipu, puts him on his lap and tears open his entrails, killing him. However, even after having killed the demon king, his fury was uncontrollable and unstoppable, causing destruction and commotion in the universe. Seeing that only an even stronger force could calm his rage down, the gods sent forth Lord Shiva in the form of Sarabeshvara, a creature with a lion head and body, a human chest with wings of a bird, who towers over the weaker avatar, crushing him down. The beautiful stone sculpture captures Sarabeshvara as he grabs Narasimha, who becomes limp and finally surrenders completely to his immense strength and serenity, thereby restoring cosmic order. One of the many aspects of Shiva, Bhikshatana is the supreme mendicant looking for bhiksha, arms in his bowl. He is depicted naked, often with animals surrounding him and a bowl in his hand. Shiva becomes Bhikshatana to atone for his sin of beheading Brahma. He is the gentler form of Bhairava. The Lingodbhava. Shiva is at the center, emerging from the pillar as an endless column of light, while Brahma is shown at his top right, and on his left bottom side we see Vishnu. Brahma and Vishnu argued over who was the greatest, so Shiva took this form to settle the dispute. Brahma transformed into a swan and flew upwards to find the top of the pillar, while Vishnu became a boar and dug downwards to find the bottom. After their search, neither could find the end. To deceive Shiva, Brahma falsely claimed he found the top and even got the Ketaki flower as false proof. Shiva, knowing the truth, punished Brahma for lying and declared that he would no longer be worshipped. Durga's statue is opposite the Chandikeshwara shrine. She is recognized by the bull head below her feet. Her statue is regularly worshipped. There are other earthly and celestial beings on either sides worshipping her. Here, she is seen with 8 arms, recognized by her pose of killing Mahishasura, placed next to the statue of Durga. Despite being in such a dynamic act of killing, she has a calm face and is also wearing a gentle smile. Maheshamurti depicts Lord Shiva as the Great Lord, seen here with 3 heads, symbolizing the Destroyer, the Creator, and the Redeemer, showcasing the 3 aspects of his divine power. The third eye symbolizes his ability to see beyond the physical world and his destructive power. The trident, Trishula, signifies control over creation, preservation, and destruction. The snake around the neck symbolizes his control over fear and death. This relief is a depiction of the story of Bhima getting the milk of Purushamriga. The story from the Mahabharata goes like this. Bhima and Dharmaraja Yudhishthira needed Purushamriga's milk for the Rajasuya Yajna, an important Vedic ritual. They both went to Purushamriga's den in the forest and stole her milk, but they got caught as she came back home. She was upset with them. However, she agreed to give the milk on condition that they would be able to escape from the forest without getting caught by her as she chased them. She decided that only then were they worthy of getting her milk. Bhima decided to take the challenge as he was extremely strong, so he ran with the milk and she chased after him. Bhima reached the end of the forest, but as he stepped out into the village, Purushamriga caught his leg that was still on the forest ground. Purushamriga asked Dharmaraja Yudhishthira to judge this situation, as Yudhishthira, the eldest brother, was known as the most fair and just of the 5 Pandavas. To this, Yudhishthira replied that according to Purushamriga's agreement, Bhima's foot that hadn't crossed the forest border and was caught by her belonged to her, but that he gets to keep to himself the foot that was well outside the forest. Listening to Yudhishthira's honesty, Purushamriga was impressed. She blessed Yudhishthira and told him that Bhima may keep his foot back and may use the milk for the yajna. This relief shows Purushamriga as she got hold of Bhima's foot at the edge of the forest. The same form of the creature was seen at the Varadaraja Perumal temple in Tirubhuvanai. Here, Purushamriga is shown guarding the temple in Tillai Chidambaram. This story is the continuation of the previous story. After Bhima was done with his task and the Rajasuya Yajna was completed, Purushamriga asked Yudhishthira what she should do now. Yudhishthira asked her to go to Tillai Chidambaram, where Shiva will be arriving soon, and that she may guard the temple entrance over there and ward off evil spirits. To this day, Purushamriga is seen guarding the temple for her beloved Shiva to come. Purushamriga is known to cleanse all sins from the devotees who enter the temple. The life cycle. In this bas-relief, the figures seen in an amazing circular composition depict the cycle of life. The composition shows the free imagination and flexibility in thought and rendering. The temple, along with the representations of Vedic gods and narrations from Hindu mythology, has a big number of panels dedicated to dance forms. One such interesting relief is situated on the northwest back courtyard side of the temple, on the lowest panel at the corner wall. It's a panel displaying multiple dance postures by a single figure from 4 different perspectives, depicting the movement of the dancer. The head of the woman is in the center, holding a beautiful expression of calm and bliss. There are 2 symmetrical dance postures, with one knee bent and the other one higher up in the air, emerging from either sides of the figure. Additionally, the posture above her head is seen balancing cross-legged. Lastly, the posture below the head has the hands placed on the ground, taking the entire weight while holding a split. There are a few other supporting dancers in the panel as well, all of it beautifully representing flexibility, strength, balance, and grace. The temple also offers insight on ordinary practices and stories from day-to-day life on these panels through miniature carvings. The plate depicts the story of a woman giving birth while she is standing. She is also seen with a belt tied in between her knees to catch the child from falling. The woman is supported by attendants on either sides, providing a vivid glimpse into the ancient procedures of that time. The temple not only involved religious depictions, but highlighted the importance of natural labor. The significance of such a scene in a temple marks the integration of daily life with spiritual practices in that era. Padmanidhi Kubera is often associated with wealth and prosperity. He is depicted holding a lotus flower, Padma, and the lotus symbolizes purity and spiritual growth, representing the blooming of enlightenment and the unfolding of divine beauty. Padmanidhi is often shown as a deity or a divine figure who bestows prosperity and good fortune, making him a symbol of both material and spiritual abundance. Chandikeshwara is considered the accountant and secretary of Shiva. He is recognized by the axe in his right hand. He has a separate shrine on the north side of every Shiva temple. You are expected to clap your hands before him at the end of your pradakshina to show that you have not taken anything and thank him for the darshana. The Airavateshvara Kovil also displays ancient murals and paintings on its walls and outer facades, giving a good hint about the heights reached in this art form in those early days. Although many paintings are weather-beaten and have faded out consumed by time, the remnants still portray the rich cultural and religious life depicting Hindu deities, mythological scenes, and even royal processions. The vivacity of the colors used, attention to details of facial expressions, and flow in the lines of the figures speak volumes about the artistic skill of those times. These paintings generally used natural pigments from minerals and plants that accounted for their brilliance and subtlety of color. However, most of the original paintings have worn out and many centuries of exposure to these elements. Yet, the remaining fragments continue to be of interest and importance to scholars and visitors for what they reveal about the aesthetic and devotional priorities of the Chola dynasty. One also learns from the paintings the role of the temple as a center not only of religion but also of art and culture, even in their faded stage.